Hello, how you doing? Mike Bradley. Hope you're doing well as always. So this is going to be a new series I'm going to start doing. What I've learnt from da-da-da-da-da. And in this case, we're starting it off with the music guitar genius legend that is Larry Carlton. So as you saw at the beginning there, that was my kind of take of the amazing Kid Charlemagne solo that Larry did in the mid-70s. I think he was like 27, 28 years old when he played that. And that solo, I mean, it's legendary, that solo. Everyone talks about that solo, and rightly so, you know, because it literally has everything in it. It's so melodic. You can hum it. You know, any great solo, you know, if you think about all the great solos out there from you know, in popular culture, Stairway to Heaven, Hotel California, Sweet Child of Mine, they're coming off my head straight away. You know, you can hum the solos. You know, it's not all, you know, trying to play a million one notes in a second, you know. It's very, very singable, you know. They're basically like a song themselves, you know. They're structured. Randy Rhoads to do that. He would structure his solos. And the Kid Charlemagne solo by Mr. Carlton, Mr. 335 himself, and of course I had to use this guitar in this video. It's so melodic, it's so toneful. The tone on it is incredible. So I wanted to talk about some things I've learnt from it and what I picked up from doing so. So I learnt this solo the other night. I sat up for a couple of hours working it out. I saw a friend of mine had posted it on his Instagram, and it encouraged me to like get this down. I remember coming across this when I was like 16, and I was at music college and I got given the tab. I was like, no, I'm not gonna learn this. It's too tricky for me. No idea where that tab is now. And I should say, this was all worked out by my ear. And God bless YouTube, be able to slow down. You can slow down the track now, which makes life easier. If you really want to pick in little nuances of what a player is doing, if they're either hammering on a note or sliding, so if it's quick, you can't always pick it out. So, no, I encourage you to try and use your ear. Don't do tab. But I'm going to show you some little ideas from this solo so you can incorporate it into your own playing. Gear wise, like I say, I'm using my 345. This is a 345. It's basically a 335, except it's got the gas knob, the baritone, which you can see here, and you can just put the pickups out of phase, but most of the time I leave it how a 335 is. You know, obviously it's got gold hardware and different inlays, but all intents and purposes it's a 335, right? And in the beginning, what you heard, I was going for my Fender Supersonic, and I've got the New Neighbor Immerse reverb pedal, which is fantastic, and I have that on mainly because my reverb in my amp has died and not working. I need it fixed. And I've got the Ultraphonix by Vertex, putting a little bit of boost on, well, a bit of grit, bit of drive, and I've got the back pickup, and you know, it's giving me you know, not load of gain. And so this is the first thing we're learning from Larry and a lot of great guitar players. You know, they haven't got as much gain as you think. You know, even to someone in a more rock world, someone like Eddie Van Halen in the early years, he didn't have as much gain as you think. It's all, you know, from the strength of their hands and the dynamics and whatnot there. You know, you've got the chords going, you know, E7 sharp 9, the Hendrix chord, which is a jazz chord, to an A7, to a D minor 7. And he's got, so bam 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 ba bam. So that's kind of all A minor pentatonic, you know. And then you got this really cool bit, which is kind of a G major thing going on, but straight away this cool slidey bit. The first thing I thought of there was Steve Lukather, and I'm very much aware that Larry Carlton is a big hero to Steve Lukather, and there's a great DVD of him, but there's a great CD. I've got the DVD, what they did in the early to mid noughties, and you know, in Rosanna by Toto, Steve's got that lick. he's got that lick going on, and he's doing that slide where you're sliding in. No, from this case, you know, you can think of it as like the flat 5, if you will. I did a lesson on this a little while ago where, you know, so say if we sing A minor, we can, no, shape 1, we can take that kind of slide into that way. I remember coming across it when, you know, you've got your 12-bar Chuck Berry kind of thing. But Larry's doing that there. Kind of sliding into the note, you know, from the back, giving it that kind of outside sound, and then bring it back into this case a G major. So tasty. I love it. I love it so much. Now, a big part of Larry's playing, which I pick up on and have done in the past, and especially in this tune here, is the triadic playing. Larry doesn't really think in terms of scales. He thinks of triads, and he's thinking of the chords. You know, so where if you think about it, a lot of us guitar players, we learn the little system, the cage system, for example, and we have our scales, and then we can see the chords round our scales, if you will. You know, so you know, a perfect example again, if I use A minor as an example here, there's A minor, an A minor chord. You know, I'm seeing pentatonic shape 1, and I see my chord. You know, and Larry's kind of seeing it from the reverse of that. He sees his chords, he knows his chords so well, and then he's seeing the scales around that, you know. So there's a bit where it goes. So you've got this really, so there, it's really, he's seeing this G major. Or G major 7, because there's your F sharp, which is the 7th of G major 7. So again, he's picturing, I'm assuming, this is what I'm picking up from it anyway, he's picking up this, this major 7 shape. If I move it up here so it's a bit more, you've got a nice kind of pretty sound there. Alright, so even if we now take this away from the solo and do our own little thing with it, you know what I mean? So I can take this idea, I'm using it as a full-on chord, and then slide into it, or that's kind of what Larry's doing here. Instead of it being very linear, when you think of, when you're soloing. So there I just went straight down the scale. Is what it is, but with kind of more intervallic, I'm skipping out that E. And that's what Larry's doing there as well, So kind of thinking in triads is a really, really cool thing. You can then, get these big jumps and sound a lot more vocal in your guitar playing, as opposed to it being, like I say, very linear all the time. So I believe that the Kid Charlemagne solo is 2 takes. So the first take and the second take, they just merge together. And I've got a feeling, I'm not entirely sure obviously, but when he goes to the A minor chord and he's kind of playing there, and again, I imagine Larry was looking at the music chart while he was playing and was playing over the chord changes. So after this, now let's just look at that, because that's really, really cool. So obviously you've got this bit. I'll do it a bit slow if you want to get that. Alright, so that's all over that E minor 7, kind of an E minor 7, I think a B minor 7 over E. Alright, so you got your E minor 7, then you got kind of an inversion thing going on, then to an A minor 7. So when he's on his A minor, you got an E to an A, then he's playing a B, which is, you know, the 2nd or the 9th, or whatever you look at it, in A minor. So that's just all A minor scale. E, A, B. Doing a little semitone bend up to a C there. And then, so this is that triadic playing again. I love that. So there you got a B, you got a G, and an E. I look at that as kind of, you know, the top 3 strings of E minor. Which is super, super cool. Then he's playing this D, which is then making it an E minor 9, I guess, you know, an add 9. It was, oh, it's so cool. So with that, ba-da-da-da-da-down, he's got this E minor, or you can look at it as G. You know, you can look at it as a few different things, but E minor and G are pretty much the same thing. It's over a G chord. Ba-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-down. You know, A minor, G and F pretty much, or F major 7. Genius! And I remember this bit here, it's a bit of a picking marathon. Wicked little line. So I'm looking at that as kind of like a C, kind of C chord going on. So I'll slide a bit slower, you slide into that 10th fret on the 4th string. And then kind of playing a C chord, if you will. Then he's pedalling off this E note. 10th fret on the 2nd string, back to the E. C on the high E, back to the E, then to the D. 10 to 12 on the 1st string, 10 on the 2nd string, 8 on the 1st. And in case you're watching this, when I said earlier that I sat up all night and you know, worked this out, and then when I recorded the solo, it took me a few takes to get the take I wanted. Trust me, this bit was fiddly. Oh. So after the A minor, the G, the F, I think it's actually an F major 9 or F6 9, is going to a B flat 13. And you got ba da 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 over that B flat 13. So again, he's got this great line 10, 11, 1st string, 2nd string. So how cool is that? And then he's kind of spinning up that C chord again, and a couple, no, chromatic. It's genius. It's genius. No, a normal guitar player wouldn't think like that. You know, this is jazz, a jazz head, you know, or thinking of piano and stuff like that. Then he's got these again, so a bit like with this, all those little slides I was telling you about, which influenced Steve Lukather. He'll do those again. So sometimes he'll slide in or hammer on. Brilliant, love it, so melodic. Now this is pretty much all A minor again. No, it's all kind of A minor pentatonic, and you've got these chromatic notes in there again. So take this from Larry, you know, fill out the notes, I like to think of it. You know, if you've got shape 2, we kind of hear an A minor, you know, you've got this 9th fret here, so you can fill up. That's your flat 5, but you know, it's a chromatic note. Or no, put a swing to it. Hammer it about. You see what I mean? So we're taking all this from Mr. 335. Then we got another really cool, super simple, you know, kind of again pentatonic-y. Then we got a cool line here. What ends on that C7 sharp 9. He's playing this, what's that, a B flat note, which is the flat 7 in a C dominant chord, you know. So again, I would have thought he's got that music stand, he's got the chord chart in front of him, and he's looking at the chords while he's soloing. I doubt he's thinking, let's try and put this lick here. So, you know, I get asked a lot of questions from people about playing over chord changes and stuff. Should I do it? Is it something I should bother with? The answer is yeah, because it just makes everything speak more. You're aware of what you're playing instead of thinking, I want to put this lick here. You know, I've learnt this new lick, I want to get it in. Larry weren't thinking about licks there. He was looking at the chords and he was playing over those changes and making sure the notes he was playing were, you know, fitting nicely with the chords that he's playing over. And it should be said as well about these chords, these aren't your regular, you know, C, F and G's. You know, they're Steely Dan were jazz guys, you know, Walter and Donald. I'm trying to think of their names then. They are, you know, they're jazz cats. So, you know, you got, was it? You know, it's an F chord, but with the C in the bass. You know, all these, you know, they're sophisticated and, you know, they're piano chords. I always call these piano chords because a piano will have a chord and they have a different note, root note, different bass note going on. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking here. Larry had that chord chart and he's playing over those chords, you know, and making sure the notes he's playing are fitting with those chords there. But let me show you this cool little line. Now you can kind of see this as an E minor, C, E minor and a C triad going on here. E minor and G are very the same. Now that's a G chord. That's an E minor chord. Same notes. Except E and G are the same there. But let me play it and you'll see what I mean. So we got 7-10 on the 5th string. Then we got a cool 7-8-9. So that 8 there is a chromatic. And then we're going to go to this 7 on the 3rd string. So we got that happening. Then it's going back to the 9 and sliding to 10. And I'm seeing now this C triad. So we got, this is all alternate picking, you know. That might be a bit tricky at first because we're doing just one note, one pick stroke per string. Then we got another chromatic line, what we did before, you know, that when I was explaining about chromatics. What's that? So you got G, G sharp A, then going to this C. And then we're going to go to the 10 on the 1st string. And I I think he does a lot of pre-bends, Larry. He's a great bender. That could come out a bit wrong, couldn't it? Larry's early days, I know he was kind of a country guy, you know, so and listening to pedal steel guitar players and stuff. So you'll notice a lot of that in Larry's playing, a lot of pre-bends. So you want to, you know, you're bending up to the E, but you want to have it pre-bent, and then you're going to the note. So you've got that, as opposed to that, you know. Dang, bang. And that, like I say, is over a C7 sharp 9 chord, you know. And then you got, I love this lick. So you got another pre-bend. You're doing a semitone on this 10th fret to the note you just played on the 11th fret, you know, on that 2nd string, and then roll up to the 3rd string on that 8th fret with your 1st finger, and you're bending up this minor 3rd to a major 3rd in the C, because, you know, it's a dominant chord is an ambiguous chord. You've got major and minor qualities in there. You've got a major 3rd and you've got a minor 7th in there. A little bit of theory, don't worry about it, but we got this, what's that there, an E flat, and we're bending up to an E. And it puts a nice bit of vibrato on there. If I put bridge pickup on. And then he's got this famous, got that going on. So this is tapping before Eddie. Again, on the record, I think he's got this as an overdub. You've got the 3rd and you've got the 5th, I think, going on there. But I haven't got 2 guitar necks. So, you know, you're bending up that 7th fret. And then you're going to tap on the 13th fret. And then that way you can put vibrato with your left hand, you know. Now that's the note, but it's not quite the same thing. You can't do it, so. And then you got 5 to 7 slide going on. And I saw an interview with Larry where he's talking about that tapping thing, and I think someone had sent him a tape. And so obviously this is the 70s, so there was no video like YouTube or anything, and someone sent him a tape and he heard that and he thought, what is that he's doing? And he took it round his, you know, his session guitar pals, you know, his friends and that, and they all trying to dissect it and think, what was that? And probably doing what I was, you know, think, well, that can't be it, I can't get the same tone. And eventually they sussed it out that that was going on, you know. And so it's a cool little thing, and, you know, 40 years later, you know, John Mayer did that thing, I guess I just feel like, a similar kind of thing, but he slid it. So the stuff here you can learn from Larry Carlton. First of all, touch and tone. You know, don't crank that amp as much as you think. Well, crank it volume-wise, absolutely. Because you want to be getting as much, you know, power amp cooking. You know, those valves cooking. But, you know, it's a dirty but clean dirty. Is that a way we can use here? Clean dirty? I'm gonna go with that. You know, it's certainly crunchy. I've got. Oh, sorry, that's really clean. You know, but it's, you know, you've got your grit there, but you can hear all the notes. It's not compressed. So yeah, that nice touch tone. What did he have? I think he obviously he's famed for using his Dumble amps. I think on the Steely Dan sessions though, that was before Dumble, so I think he had like a Fender Deluxe reverb or something. Let me know in the comment section below if I'm wrong, but I'm sure it's Fender Deluxe reverb he's got, because Dumble wasn't yeah, don't think the Dunbar was about just yet. And like I say, 335, and you know, I doubt he had any pedals going on. He probably just had that amp cooking and, you know, went with it. So yeah, touch and tone. And then of course the big thing is being aware of the chords you're playing over. That I think is a big thing to kind of get that melodic sensibility to your guitar playing. So, you know, if you're completely new to this, try just getting a couple of chords, get say A minor to D minor, and practice playing over that and think, what are those notes in those chords? You know, in A minor I've got A, C and E. So if I've got an A, I haven't got a loop pedal set up, sorry, but if I've got a... Actually what I can do, I can do this. So... So there, you know, I was doing it quite straight, seeing my chords, and then carrying it on. No, A, C and E. Then thinking about, you know, if you put the 7th in there, is a G. You know, then you got a 9, which would be a B. So just start incorporating those kind of sounds, and if it's changing into a D minor 7, and then I'll be playing over that, you know, so the notes in a D minor, D, F and A, but I've got the 7, which is putting in the C, you know, so it's a little bit of theory and a little bit going back to school, if you will, but, you know, when you hear someone like Larry do it, and then you can hear his influences, like I talked about Steve Lukather. Steve Lukather's a massive Larry Carlton fan, and you can hear those influences in his playing, especially that slide thing. So that's what I've learned from Larry Carlton. Is the fact that he's amazing. The great touch, great tone, but playing over those chords and looking at those chords, what notes are in those chords, what is going to help me enhance my lead guitar playing to get some corner notes so that it's all working over the chord changes. So I hope this has given you some ideas, guys. Like I say, it's going to be a new little series. I've already started and know what I want to do for the next one, but it'd be great to know your thoughts, so please do let me know in the comment section below. It'd be great to read them all and hear them. Please make sure you give the video a good old thumbs up, and if you haven't already, you know, please follow me on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook as well, and you can get more stuff and get some CDs and other lessons from my website, which is mikebradleymusic.com. It all means a lot, and you can get links. All the links will be in the description box below, and you can get a link to get some t-shirts and things like that as well if you want to give a t-shirt to your nan. Anyway, hope you're good and well. Check out some Larry Carlton. Check out the original Kid Charlemagne solo if you haven't heard it already, or if you have, just go back and listen to it again because it's phenomenal. And I'll see you very soon. Mike Bradley very much signing out. Bye! The devil's on my side.